everybody. We're back with Drew Brees. February 9th, Super Bowl's going to be in New Orleans. I heard that you and Gronk are going down to New Orleans together. You guys going to get up to some fun?
Yeah. So Gronk calls me up 3 months ago, and he's like, "Hey, you know, I've been the face for Bounty for the last 3 years. I need a wingman."
Bounty paper
Bounty
towels?
paper towels. You know, as you know, you can't have football without wings. You can't have wings without Bounty. I need a wingman, and I'm going to New Orleans. He goes, "I've never hung out in New Orleans. I need somebody to be my wingman down in New Orleans. Would you be my wingman?" And I'm like, "Yeah, absolutely. You think that's a good idea, right?"
Sure. Yeah.
We're gonna have a good time, to say the least.
What's it like to play in the Super Bowl? I mean, not everybody gets to do it. You play how many games a season these days?
Shoot, 17 regular season games.
17 regular season games, but it's got to be different at the Super Bowl. What's the biggest difference between that and another game?
Yeah, it's I would say this, just to get past all of the hoopla, you know, our Super Bowl, I remember for the first 3 plays of that game, I was so nervous. You know, you first off, you come out of the locker room onto the field, and during the regular season game, you're hyped up, you go to the coin toss, sing the national anthem, you're kicking off and playing the game. So it's a very quick transition. Here, you come to the sideline, and you know they're gonna sing "God Bless America." They're going to announce the Walter Payton Man of the Year. They're gonna do this. They're gonna do this announcement, that award. We're gonna go do the coin toss. Then we're gonna do something. It's like 30 minutes before you get to the kickoff, and so it's easy to have that adrenaline high, and then all of a sudden that crash. So it's like, how do we just kind of maintain our calm, our poise, our composure?
How does the halftime compare? Because what's a normal halftime break? 15 or something?
You're probably in the locker room 15 minutes. Here it's more like 30 minutes because you've got the halftime show. So I remember we go into halftime, we take off our pads, get a turkey sandwich, and our halftime was interesting because
you get a turkey sandwich at halftime?
It's probably pickle juice and something else now, but at the time it was a turkey sandwich. Yeah. Right. It was delicious. And then you come up with your next kind of 15 plays on how you want to start the second half. But ours was a little more interesting because it was also when our head coach, Sean Payton, came in the locker room and said, "Hey, we're kicking an onside kick to start the second half." We had nicknamed it Ambush, very rightly named. Ambush, ambush. So all of a sudden that word starts spreading around the locker room. Hey, we're going to start the second half with an onside kick. Unprecedented, right? And sure enough, we started with an onside kick. We get the ball, and that was a total change in momentum for us, which kind of propelled us to victory. But yeah, it definitely takes some poise and composure.
Well, New Orleans is awfully proud of that victory, and you're awfully proud of New Orleans too. I'm just curious, how did that relationship with New Orleans start? Because you clearly love that place, but you're not from that place. Yep. And I'm just curious, what did it mean to you when you first got there?
Well, 2006, I was a free agent leaving the San Diego Chargers, and I was coming off a really bad shoulder injury to the point where I really wasn't sure if I would play football again or if I did, how effective I would be. And so I think the general sentiment around the league was that I probably wouldn't be that effective. And so I only had 2 real opportunities. It was the Miami Dolphins and the New Orleans Saints. And I'd gone to Miami and had an unbelievable visit, and Nick Saban was the head coach there, believe it or not, before he went to Alabama. And here I was going to New Orleans, which 6 months post-Katrina, the city still completely destroyed. Some unknown head coach that they brought in from the Dallas Cowboys named Sean Payton, who's this guy, right? And I have the most unbelievable time with my wife where like everything with Sean is great. I love his coaching staff. Takes us to Emerald's. Emerald Lagasse's like, "Hey, I'm going to cook your first meal for you here in New Orleans." I'm like, "Dude, this place is awesome. These people are so great." And now he's driving us around neighborhoods to say, "Hey, despite the devastation, there are places to live and raise a family. And I know you're a young couple that's thinking about all these things." And everything could not have gone better until the way home when all of a sudden, detour here, detour there. Sean doesn't know where he is. He's new to the city. He gets lost. Next thing I know, we're in the Lakeview neighborhood, which had been completely wiped out from the flood of the 17th Street Canal. And so you've got houses off of foundations, a truck upside down in the living room, and all of a sudden, the car pulls around the corner and stops. And I'm looking at my wife saying, "Are you seeing what we're seeing?" And we look up, and there's a tugboat in the middle of the road. And I look at Sean Payton, like, and he drops his head. He calls our general manager, and he's like, "Yep, I'm lost. Yep, Drew's in the car. Yeah, it's bad." And in his mind, he goes, "I might as well drive him to Miami right now because there is no way he is coming here." But in fact, it had the exact opposite effect, which was my wife and I said, this is so much greater than just football. This is a true calling for us to be here to part of the part of the resurrection of one of America's greatest cities. And
that's great, man. Thanks so much for being here.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Super Bowl champion Drew Brees, everybody. We'll be right back with Morris Chestnut.